let's be fair here. The banking sector, and there Syed Zafar Islam did have a point, was in far worse shape pre-2014 than it is today. The MSME challenge, Zafar Islam, is a very different one on the other hand. We have a opinion poll. During our opinion poll, we asked who has benefited the most from the Modi government's policies. More than 55% said big business, Zafar Islam. Now, we can qualify the fact is MSMEs are the ones who have suffered the most demonetization, GST, and certainly during COVID times. And they possibly have the greatest employment potential as well. Over the years, a lot of informal labor which could have got formalized through the MSME sector. Do you concede that rather than these Rozgar Melas which are only filling up vacancies, the government needs a better comprehensive plan for MSMEs?
Well, Rajdeep, let me respond to Mr. Mehrotra first. Any economist who understands economy very well, like Mr. Mehrotra does, if he criticizes our government and compare with UPA and does not acknowledge the problems which existed and problem existed to even when we assume the government inherited those problems, like the fragile economy, the policy paralysis, the huge amount of loan given to unproductive loan, because there are many reports which was published during that time where it says that debt curse, there was a report from Credit Suisse debt curse. Most of the loans were given at that time were actually had become a bad debt, and we had inherited those problems. So the write-offs had to be done.
So you inherited problems, but we are now in 2023.
Private sector.
Sir, we are now in 2023, and there was a decline in growth pre-COVID as well.
Just a second, Rajiv, just a second. Allow me to complete. So we had to first recapitalize those banks. A lot of money had to go to the bank to bring them back into order. Secondly, he was talking about private investment. Which company will make the investment in the country? Tell me which company was in a position to make investment. Everybody was sitting on huge debt taken, and those debts were actually, those money were either siphoned off or unproductively used. They were not in a position to invest any more penny, and the capacity utilization was less than 60%. Who will invest more? Government had to take this burden, and they started investing. So public investment was more than required, but yet government had to do it, so government had done it. For MSME, we had a comprehensive policy. We did support MSME, continue to support MSME because MSME needed some support, and that support was given to the MSME sector. Yes, there were issues. We resolved those issues. There were a lot of issues. A lot of legislation had to be made, like GST. We made the legislation which slowed down economy for a while. But it does do like a hockey stick recovery, and we
sir, we don't have a hockey. Sir,
and a lot of jobs.
Sir, we have a recovery.
Last point.
Yes, go ahead.
Last point, Rajdeep.
Yes.
No, forget about K-shape. I disagree with this K-shape. There's a very smart recovery and something which we very clearly acknowledge that. Away from that, let me tell you the last point. There is no payroll mechanism here which you can capture on a real-time basis that how much jobs have been created. There is no mechanism. Government is trying to do that. Unlike in the developed countries where you have every day whatever job has been created, that payroll data does give you that idea. India, we don't have. Whatever job has been created in formal sector, like EPFO gives the number, it is growing. Your Naukri.com, it is growing. Every other space you find, job is growing. Because in private sector, job is being created, but there is no system to capture those data.
Okay.
The only way to capture
Sir, you made your point. You made your point. Salman shows particularly. Sir, you made your point. You made your point now. You made your point. Salman shows EPFO data, for example, that the government often cites, suggests that there has been employment created, perhaps far greater than certain other numbers and data indicate. And the government points to that EPFO data and says, look, things are much better today than they were. Please look at what we've gone through over the last 4 years, and therefore post-COVID, we are in a better place.
So first of all, when Zafar says that we don't have the data that he's talking about, and he's right, but wasn't it Mr. Modi who said that he would do in 60 months what all of the governments could not do in 60 years? Why have they not been able to do this in 10 years? That's a very reasonable question to ask them. Why isn't there this data that they talk about? Why did they make these false promises to the people of the country? I did not make these promises. Mr. Modi made the promises. Now, as far as the EPFO, when you talk about EPFO, for example,
I will respond to that.
I think EPFO data on, when they say that new jobs are being created. EPFO is a very volatile database. You get you leave one job, you move to another job within the formal sector, and it will show up as a new employment. It doesn't take care of people who have already left. So I would not get into this EPFO business. You have PLFS, check that data. Now, when you ask Rajdeep, you have to ask the people of the country what political party is going to wrestle with this issue, and that's a reasonable question. But let me tell you what the
provide me the answer. Provide me if tomorrow the Congress. No, 1 minute. I have limited time now.
Let me give you the answer.
What is the answer?
Let me give you the answer, Rajdeep. The point is that these guys have basically supported big business, and there's one simple data point you have to see. If you look at new investment, private sector investments, there's a lot of investment, but it's happened through very few projects. That means big ticket items are happening. That means a lot of money is changing hands. The Congress's approach is going to be focused sharply on micro, small, and medium enterprises, because that's what creates jobs around the world.
No, you
not
need
just
both.
in India.
Who says you don't need big ticket infrastructure projects?
And they have ruined this economy. We, on the other hand, have to rescue it only through the MSME. The big businesses can continue doing their work, but the new government that is going to come, the India government, is going to support MSMEs.
Okay. We've heard two different views of how are you going to create jobs. The Congress says we will support small MSMEs. The government of the day says, look, we first had to inherit problems from the previous government, and we have now stepped into a world where we believe we are in a better position to create jobs. Either way, Rozgar Melas are only filling in government vacancies, remember. And in many instances, especially in departments like railways, many exams have been held over for years and recruitment has not been provided. There are structural, systemic problems that need to be addressed as well. Rozgar Melas may get the headlines. Will they actually create the kind of jobs, quality jobs, this country will need?
India's #1 political reporter
Defines what seems to be happening, vendetta politics. कोई दूध के से धुला हुआ नहीं है.
Unmatched eye, unmatched experience.
The world has changed. My black hair has become grey as well.
And with unmatched passion for the story.
Do not monopolize the conversation.
When it's 100% news that matters. It's News Today with Rajdeep Sardesai. Monday to Friday, 9 p.m. Only on India Today TV. India's #1 political reporter.
Defines what seems to be happening, vendetta politics. कोई दूध के से धुला हुआ नहीं है.
Unmatched eye, unmatched experience.
The world has changed. My black hair has become grey as well.
And with unmatched passion for the story.
Do not monopolize the conversation.
When it's 100% news that matters. It's News Today with Rajdeep Sardesai. Monday to Friday, 9 p.m. Only on India Today TV.